Well, hello, lovely humans, and welcome back to my channel. If you clicked on this video, my guess is someone just put a ring on it, and you are probably pretty over the moon right now. And I just want to take a moment to say congratulations on your engagement. I am so happy that you are here. If you're new around here, my name is Jamie Wolfer, and I am a wedding planner, and I have offices both in Central Texas and in Southern California. And I make weekly wedding planning videos on the YouTubes, and I absolutely love supporting couples that are balling on a budget. You see, this is the 3-year anniversary of this channel, which is just mind-blowing to me. I can't believe that we have been doing this for 3 years, and I'm super honored that you've tuned in. You decided to watch some of my content, and if you've been around here for a while, thank you. If you're new here, please stay. Don't let me scare you. Just stick around for a little bit. But if there's one thing that I've learned in the last few years that I've been doing this, it's that y'all are here for answers. Like, you just need some guidance and some support. And so we've done our best in my business to make sure that we are coming up with resources and videos that are going to be helpful for absolutely everyone at absolutely any budget. I also I get teased for my long intros, okay? Like, I try to shorten them, but sometimes it's a little lengthy. So if you've clicked on this video, you're probably feeling both completely elated and also completely overwhelmed. So I figured it was high time that we do a recap, or a redo, if you will, of one of my original videos that, oh my goodness, I watched it back before making this and I was like, ugh, homegirl was cringy. Let's just say things have improved quite a bit in the last, 1,000+ days, okay? But I figured it was high time that I released a new video with links to all of the videos that you should be watching, kind of in the order that you should be watching them for those first few steps. But before we launch into the meat of today's video, if you are new, tell us your engagement story down below. When did your sweet partner pop the question? How did they do it? Did you cry? Did you freak out? Let us know the details down below. If you're an OG and you've been around here for a minute, go down there. Welcome all the newbies in the comments below and let them know what an awesome crowd this is, because we've just got the coolest community here. So let's connect in the comments down below. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. So there's going to be a whole slew of videos that I'm going to be tossing at you while we're talking today. It's going to be obviously a little difficult to keep track of, and I don't have enough cards to put in the upper right-hand corner, so I'm going to leave them listed down below. We're also going to create a playlist based off of this. So if I'm throwing a bunch of information at you really quickly, 1, I'm sorry, I'm a fast talker. 2, don't worry, it's gonna be right down below. I got you covered, don't stress out. We're gonna get through this together. So the first thing that you are going to want to do once you've freaked out and shared with absolutely everybody and done the Monica Geller / Bing, I'm engaged, the next thing that you are going to want to do is set a freaking budget. Anyone who's been around here for a minute is like, Jamie gets on a soapbox when she talks about budgets. You can't plan anything unless you have a budget to operate off of. I want to be the first one to tell you that your budget is nothing to be ashamed of. No matter where it's at, no matter how much you have to spend or have chosen to spend on your event, I don't want you to be ashamed of it. In fact, this is a budget shame-free facility, okay? So if you've got $1,000, good on you. Also, if you've got $70,000, good on you. But wherever you land, whatever you decide, you cannot take any steps until you know how much you have to spend. Because if you start booking a photographer and booking a venue and then talking to caterers and you don't know how much money you have to spend, you may waste all of your budget on the first 3 vendors that you book, and then you won't have enough money for a dress or for the florals that you really want. So it's extremely important to know how much money you actually have to spend before you sign any contracts, before you put down any deposits. Know what you have. The first video I want you to watch is how to create a perfect budget. This one's absolutely fantastic. I think it's a great place to start because it talks about so many things, like navigating the conversation with family members who might be contributing to your event, to how to allocate expenses, all those sorts of details. That's video number 1 that I want you to watch. The second video that I want you to watch when it comes to your budget is the number 1 budget killer. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a spoiler alert. It's your guest count. Because so many items that you pay for on your wedding day is directly affected by the amount of people that you invite. I do still suggest checking out that video because it will give you a lot more motivation and reasoning behind why having a giant guest count will also increase your budget. So it's just kind of important to keep those things in mind. And speaking of guest lists, the next thing that you're gonna wanna do is kind of figure out, generally speaking, how many people you want to invite. This is a good time to sit down with your spouse-to-be and just do a brain dump of all the people. You will need a little bit of time to pull this off though. I know for me when I was planning my wedding that like 2 weeks later I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot like these 3 families that I absolutely want to invite. So it's a good idea to spend a week or 2 putting this list together and really dumping down absolutely everybody you might want to invite. Notice that I'm using very specific language here. It's who you might want to invite. Now, putting together a guest list, especially if you have outside people contributing to it, can be a very emotional experience. So the next video that I recommend for you is guest list do's and don'ts. Who should you invite to your wedding? Again, we walk through all of this together so you don't have to feel too overwhelmed, and it definitely talks about the pressure of feeling like you have to invite somebody, so I'd recommend stopping by there next. And all of these things are somewhat overlapping, so if you happen to do your guest list before your budget, that's okay, but remember that your guest list dictates where your budget will go. So if you happen to put together a guest list before your budget, that's all right. But also remember, you only have to spend what you have to spend. So your budget is going to be the foundation upon which you build everything else. So you may have to cut your guest list to make your budget work. Third thing is to figure out the date and or general season within which you want to get married. I recommend picking a handful of dates, unless there is a hyper-specific date that like signifies an anniversary or a day of significance in your life, then I recommend having about 3 dates to choose from. We've done 2 seasonal videos on this channel so far. We've done one about fall and one about summer. And kind of the tips for planning an event during those times. I don't know what this move was, but it felt right at the time. Those will be down below if you're interested in entertaining either one of those. I have not done a spring one or a winter one yet because I feel like I'm just going to be kind of repeating the same exact things in those 2 videos. So if you're thinking winter, watch the fall video for now. If you're thinking spring, watch the summer video for now until I get my act together and get those videos going for you, okay? Cool. And once you kind of have those 3 things done, your budget, your guest list, and like the date that you want to get married on, generally speaking, this is when reality starts to hit and people are like, I got 14 months to do what? I got 18 months, I got 12, I got 10. And this is where like the emotional flailing starts to take place because you're just not quite sure what you should be doing next. Now remember at the top of the video, I said that we have a bunch of resources for you. And we actually have this amazing tool that we are giving away for free because I just freaking love you guys. And I wanna make sure that I am supporting you and guiding you in the best way possible. And that is a free 12-month planning timeline. You can find it at jwcoordination.com/timeline. Basically, it tells you what you should be doing, what you should be researching, and what vendors you should be booking. All of the details broken out into a 12-month time frame. You can, of course, spread these out or condense them a little bit more depending on the length of your engagement. But basically, it's a resource that you can print up and cross off as you are getting stuff done because it feels so good to cross stuff off checklists. Who's with me? I love it so much. So again, if you want to get that resource, go to jwcoordination.com/timeline. But of course, if you're new, you don't know this yet, but I'm a little bit extra. My team and I put together this incredible tool where once you download your timeline, if you tell us, generally speaking, where you're at in your planning process, we will then plug you into a system that emails you the videos that you need to be watching from this channel when you need to be watching it. Because I'm all over the place. Like I am not organized for when I release videos. It's just what I'm feeling in the moment. And so while there's a lot of value here on this channel, it can be very confusing, which is why I'm sitting here and making this video right now. So it's nice, clear steps for those who are just getting started. But after these 7-10 videos, you may be emotionally flailing again. So here's a timeline to tell you when you should be planning things. And if you want to, we'll get you plugged in and send you emails with the rest of the videos that you need to be watching throughout your engagement when you need to be watching them. So head on over to jwcoordination.com/timeline and we will get you hooked up. Because obviously this list is bomb, but once you hit the last video in this playlist, you're gonna be like, okay, what now? Because I don't care if you've got $5,000 or $50,000. You deserve to feel supported and guided along the way. So be sure to grab that timeline and we will make sure that you are on the right track. And I will be like your wedding planner in your inbox, reminding you of when it's time to get your next task done so you will not be emotionally flailing, at least not if I can help it. The next step, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't share this because this is what I actually do for a living, is to hire a wedding planner. Now, there's a wide range of types of wedding planners, where it could be full service, like the movie The Wedding Planner, everything from A to Z. They plan it all for you, but those ones are pretty stinking expensive, and my guess is a bunch of you aren't going to fall into that category. And then there are planners like me that offer packages with certain amount of meetings or certain amount of hours. And then lastly, there is month of coordination or day of coordination. In my opinion, like they're the same exact thing because no one just shows up on your big day and like makes stuff happen. They have to meet with you beforehand. But as you can see, there's like a lot of room for interpretation and for a wedding planner to kind of invent whatever packages they want to offer, which is why the next video in this list will be 10 questions to finding the perfect wedding planner. Because if you already know your budget, you know your guest count, you know the date, generally speaking, within which you want to get married or the range within which you want to get married, you will want to find someone to support you along the way. Now, if you can afford a day of coordinator, at the very least, I 10 out of 10 recommend it. Like, I did not have a coordinator at my event. I had to coordinate my own wedding and I hated it, okay? I freaking hated it, and I don't want you to have that experience. But if you don't have the money for a long-term wedding planner, then you don't have the money. So with that in mind, the next video I'm gonna recommend that you watch is, do you actually need a wedding planner? And it's really a video to cause you to be a lot more introspective. What does your life look like? How chaotic are things for you? How confident do you feel in all of this? Do you actually need to hire a wedding planner? Because there are plenty of circumstances where you don't. And perhaps you find yourself in a place where you're like, yes, I need a wedding planner, but also I can't afford one, or I don't wanna spend that amount of money on one. Again, we've got some incredible options for you here with my company, should you choose to. Of course, free videos galore, but should you want next level help, we have our online course called The Master Plan, and it is chef's kiss. Like, beyond my children, it is one of the best things I've ever made. It is literally everything I take my clients through, from point A to wedding day, every single step that they should be going through, without being too overwhelming, because I know that some of you are not very detail-oriented out there, and anytime something gets too detailed, it makes you panic. It's the perfect convergence of like beautiful checklists and spreadsheets, but also not too much. If you are interested in hearing more about the master plan, I will link that video down below, of course, or you can go to themasterplanwed.com to check that out. It is literally an online platform to get a wedding planner, and you have a 6-month planning option or a 12-month planning option. If you feel like you want to go next level, the next step up from there, I offer monthly phone calls. We call it the Lovely Humans Club. Well, the original name was like the Master Plan Club. It's turned into the Lovely Humans Club. We got a Facebook group and everything, which, by the way, if you want to join any of our Facebook groups, I will leave the ones that are open to you guys down below. So it's basically a monthly call where I jump on and answer in live time your questions specifically that are submitted beforehand, and then I can walk through and give personalized and intentional feedback. So if you do want the next level support, I do recommend checking that one out. So whether it's just jumping onto our email list that sends you the videos when you need them, or it's joining the course, or it's jumping in on the monthly phone calls, or it's actually hiring us, because yes, you can actually hire me. Of course, there are travel fees, and I'm not as inexpensive as the course, which is why we like to build out those options for you. It is my absolute heart's desire to be as helpful as possible at any price point. Like, no matter what your budget is, no matter how much you want to spend on a planner, we have got a resource for you that I feel so deeply that I know you're going to enjoy it, just because like they're so good, you guys. Oh, okay. Enough. So if I haven't sold you on it, like, just find a planner in some capacity to help you out, whether that's this channel, it's the course, it's the calls, or it's an actual in-life real planner to assist you along the way. Whatever level of help you feel like you need in planning your wedding, I encourage you to seek that out. Of course, I will always be here every single week, pumping out videos for you to enjoy, but sometimes you do need to take that to the next level, so I encourage you to look into that. After you've got your planner, then it's kind of time to start tinkering with the style. I, of course, did a whole video on how to figure out your wedding style. It's one of my older videos, so it's a little bit more brutal for me to watch back personally, but it's still chock full of good advice on how to kind of figure out what it is that you want to do. This is, of course, something that we cover in the course. There's a whole section dedicated to how to design your wedding with Pinterest. So if you feel like you're hung up on that, the master plan is the place for you to be, for sure. But this video is a great starting point to really help you figure out what your style is and how you can interpret that in your wedding. And the last thing you're gonna wanna do is find a venue, because you can't really book anybody or anything until you know where it's gonna happen. Sure, you could probably book a photographer who's like, point me to the right direction once we get there, but companies like catering, a little bit more difficult. They'll need to know the kitchen situation. Rentals, again, they'll need to know load in and load out information. So that is kind of like a hinge point. So like once you book your venue, then it's domino effect. You can book the rest of your vendors following that. So the 2 videos that I recommend for that are 1, 20 questions you must ask at your venue walkthrough. I'm going to keep pointing down below, but at this point, you guys know they're there. And 2, the difference between DIY and all-inclusive. Just like wedding planners, there's a wide range of styles of venues, what they will and what they won't do. There are not standard rules across the board. I wish there were, because it would make my job a heck of a lot easier, but every venue has like slightly different policies or rules or charges or what they include and what they don't include. So this video is a great place to go to really figure out what's going to work best for your budget and the amount of time that you have available. I thought this was going to be much shorter than it was. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope this list of videos is just enough to get you started, to jumpstart you in the right direction, and to help you feel encouraged and empowered to get this thing done. I am so excited for you. Congratulations again. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, jump on down there, hit that subscribe button, because we are on the track for 100K and we're gonna have an amazing giveaway when we get there. So get on down there and let's get there faster, okay? If you want to connect with me outside of this channel, you can find our wedding planning Instagram over at JW Coordination. And if you want to connect with me outside of weddings, you can find me at the Jamie Wolfer, both here on YouTube for my lifestyle brand and Instagram, where I'm a goober 90% of the time. So like, if you thought this was bad, wait till you see the non-professional side. And until next week, I'm gonna cut myself off at this point because I'm talking too much. Bye, guys.